So welcome back to the channel. On the 7th of November 2016 we are at Newcastle in the 3:15 1 mile 4 furlongs handicap, and we're looking at a horse called Tectonic. Now Tectonic's last two runs, it's finished third and second in races at Newcastle over this distance. So why has the price drifted so badly? Well, in my opinion it's drifted badly because it's up in class and it's up against it in this race. In my view, the horse isn't up to this class. Now we look at the form and it's finished 3rd of 11 on October the 16th, rated 63 in an overall rated race of 64. And if you don't know what that signifies, we'll go back to one of the other videos and that will explain it. The average race rating. Basically it's the class of the race in terms of all the horses' handicap added together and divided by the number of runners, and then we get a true reflection of the class of the race. So here it finished 3rd of 11, beaten one length. Now next time out it dropped in class to 55, so you'd expect it to be pretty competitive in that race, and it was. It finished 2nd of 13, beaten just over a quarter of a length. So that was a reasonable price, 7 to 1. And you can see today that it started out on 10s and has drifted right out to 34 before coming in slightly. So in my opinion the graph reflects its true chance, and in this race it is now running against horses rated on average 73, so it's up 18 in the ratings and it's also up 4 in the weights, so it's gone up in total 22 points for this race. So I don't think this horse is going to be competitive, even though it's finished 3rd and 2nd in its last two outings. Now let's have a look at the graph and just have a look at what price we would want before we started trading on Tectonic. I certainly wouldn't be taking the 25 because I think that price could go higher. It has form in the book, but in terms of winning in this class it's never done so. So why would it suddenly turn that form around and start winning today? So I don't think it's going to be a trade, but it'll be interesting to watch how the price fluctuates over the next 15 minutes. We're only about 17 minutes off the race, and Tectonic, like we say, has already drifted out pretty sharpish in the graph, and I'm not going to get involved like I have done with these type of graphs in the past. So let's have a look, see what we do with Tectonic, and we'll come back a little bit later and see the progress. It may well get backed in on the strength of its last two runs, purely because it's finished in the frame, but in terms of the race itself I don't think it's going to be competitive. And you can see as it stands then there is very little confidence behind the horse. This is a 7-year-old, so it's not likely to improve rapidly from its last few runs, and the price is beginning to push out with a little bit of money on the lay side, but there really isn't any real substance on the bet side to suggest that it's going to push down, and I think that's all to do with the class of the race. Obviously it's going to reach a point where some people think the value is now in the price and it might just edge down a few points, but I don't think it's going to go majorly down in price. And now we see on the bet side that there is some money coming in, so this is more or less the price that it's holding up at present. And like I said before, I certainly wouldn't be rushing to back this horse at 27, 28. If it got to 40, 50 even, then I might take a small interest, because it might come down to a price of about 10 in running and we could have traded off. But in terms of getting very close to winning, then I don't think we're on to a trade on this occasion. If you follow betting on Betfair, you'll also note that as the price pushes out then the bookmakers odds, the actual bookmakers odds, will also follow that pattern. So this morning Tectonic was trading at 10 or 12 to 1, and now you can actually get 20 to 1 with the bookmakers because the price is being pushed out on Betfair. So that's something to have a look at. Just because a horse in the morning is trading at 10 or 12 to 1 and it gets pushed out in the Betfair market, don't think that you're getting value on a horse just because it was trading at 10 or 12 to 1 in the morning. You've got to look at the horse's form individually and assess yourself whether that horse is capable of winning the race. If it isn't capable, then you want a very big price before you start getting involved in trading. Certainly nothing in the region of 28. So we're about 10 minutes away from the race itself, and there is still a lot of money on the bet side, but I'm still not convinced that the price is going to push down. I think the price will at best stay around 27-28, and it's my opinion that it will push a little bit higher because of the lack of form going into the race, or lack of real form going into the race. Obviously the horse does have form, it's finished second and third, but as we said before, in much lower class. You'll also note that I don't have any trades in this market. This is a race that I don't want to get involved in, so I'm quite happy to leave it alone. You don't have to bet in every race. You can pick and choose the horses that you want to get involved in the trades. So everything is in your favour. The bookmakers have to play on the race, but you don't as an individual. You can just watch the race and take it in, learn from it, and move on to the next race. Only trade when you're absolutely happy with the price that you get in for the form on offer. So we've reached the 5-minute mark, and I've said it before, this is the problem area for trading. I always seem to, if I do come unstuck, then it would be in the last 5 minutes, and I've learnt from past experience a few years ago that the last 5 minutes, leave it alone. We should see some massive trades coming in round about this price, and so I don't think there's going to be much in terms of value, certainly not in the horse at the present price. So we're now about 3 minutes away. You can see the price still pushing up slightly. There's plenty of opposition on the bet side, 149, 116, but the market does tend to want to still push up. And I think it's a reflection of what we said before. The form isn't strong enough, and the price in the market is not big enough for a major push down. 1 minute from the race, it has moved down slightly to 25, but in general I think it's more or less stayed in the same place. So the interesting thing will be to see how close Tectonic gets to the leaders in the race and see if it goes down, but my prediction is that the horse won't finish in the first 4. So we'll see how that pans out. I'm sticking my neck on the line here a little bit, but I don't think it'll finish in the first 4. So we're very close to post time now, and the money on the left has come in opposition to Tectonic. We've seen 100, 200. The price has been taken, but it's still roughly about 26, 27. So we're just waiting for the off, and then we'll see how the horse gets on during the race. And that's it, we're off and racing in the Newcastle 3:15. Now it's a 1.5 mile race, so 6 furlongs marker is going to be round about here where Tectonic is, and the 3 pole is going to be about here. So no major movements yet on Tectonic, still trading more or less where it is, and that's probably about right for longer distance races. They seem to get into a rhythm and they get into a place, and there's not that much happening early on. There is a little bit of downward force, and that may be due to Tectonic running okay presently, maybe just in a decent position. the price is soon going back out to the mid-20s. So we're coming up to the 6 furlong marker and it's still trading in the mid-20s. No real sign that it's improving during the race. And we're inside the 6 furlong marker now, so we should see a little bit more happening between the 6 and the 3 pole. So it's going out into the 30s. Pushing up as we get closer to the finish, 48. You might get the odd downward bets, but in general the price is on the way out. You see again 48, 55 appearing there. 75, 80, 100. Looks a beaten horse at this stage and it's gone out to 1,000. So it didn't get lower than the high teens, I don't think, in the race. I think it went to maybe 16 or something like that. So certainly nowhere near our usual in-play price of 10. And that was the finish. So all in all, there we go. That's how I look at the race for the 3:15 at Newcastle on the 7th of November. Tectonic's form really didn't add up to anything prior to the race. Even though it finished 3rd and 2nd, the price drifted out quite alarmingly, and that told you that something was not always correct in going out. Sometimes you do get horses that go out and they have very good form, as we've seen in previous videos, but on this occasion I think the market was right to drift the price, and that was obviously what happened in the race. So that's today's video. Hope you've enjoyed looking at a few different things. Hopefully we'll do a few more trades. In the next video we'll put some more money on and look at horses that do have the form to win the race. If you've enjoyed watching and you don't want to miss the next video, then you can subscribe. It is free to do so and you'll be alerted